Okay, I'm recording this screen from an action camera. Not a GoPro, but some other brand. Probably not the most ideal camera to record a screen, but it's what I have. And when I only have one viewer viewing a video, well, this is just the way it is. Yes, I think that's what I had last time, one viewer. Anyhow, what this video is going to be about is setting up Windows 10 or 11 the best possible way, at least in the opinion of 5 Squared support. Take what you will out of this video, and always know, if you need help, give me a call. Hopefully someday it'll be us. But we're going to do this start to finish. So the first thing I want to do is set up the recording from the computer. This is not going to be easy for me to do because this camera is right in front of my keyboard. So we're going to open up OBS, make sure the audio is working. It is. Desktop audio should be working as well. I do have all the other settings done, so I'm just going to press record or start recording. Normally I do this on another monitor, but this is the way I'm choosing to do it today. First thing we need to do is get, what are we going to do? Windows 11? Windows, one hand typing, left hand. 11 ISO. Even though I have a copy of this, I don't want the assistant in this case. We just want to do the image straight up. Windows 10, I think you're going to have to go through their media. I forgot what they're called. Medium Creation Tool, I think. Media Creation Tool, I think it's called. But we are going to do Windows 11. Downloads 5 Squared. That's a fine location. Now we just need to wait for this to download. And this will allow me to vape. I'm only using this green screen for syncing purposes. Now that we have the Windows 11 ISO, we want to make a USB boot drive. Let me grab a boot drive or a USB flash drive. I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to use Rufus. I have a portable version. I create a little desktop called bar, short for toolbar, and I'm going to use Rufus from inside here. I'm going to use 4.4. I don't have a need to change anything here. However, once I press start, it's going to give me some options. These are the options I want. This is the username. That's default, but I'm going to change this to 5 Squared. Now the data BS, I'll actually share with you what that means. I have a son, his nickname, or his initials are BS. Stands for BS in the Philippines. He has his own Twitter and Facebook as well. If my one viewer of 5 Squared Support would like to see that channel, now you know where it is. I'll introduce me a little bit. That's BS in the Philippines. This is me, and this is my beautiful wife. How a slug like me, is that the right term? Slug? I don't think slug is the right term, the one I'm looking for. Managed to get a beautiful boy and a beautiful wife. I am unsure of, but I did. So let's get back. We're going to create this boot up Windows 11 ISO using these specs, and this will take several minutes. Let's show BS in the Philippines. He's such a good boy. I think I mentioned this in a prior video. He is so good at math, and he knows square numbers, and he just turned 6 on Christmas of 2017. But he's known squared numbers since he's like 3, and he knows a lot of math and multiple. He's really good at math and many things. Anyhow, that's how 5 Squared Support came about. It's because of BS in the Philippines. Let's cover up my mug and look at the beautiful mugs. Oh, my love. So this is a note. I have an image of this file, so maybe 50 years from now when he's going through my old stuff, he can read stuff. So I wrote him this little note. I might have to put this video on BS in the Philippines just because of these messages. Alright, it's time to vape. I suppose I should set a reminder of where you can get a hold of 5 Squared Support in the event you need help. It's right here. And we'll keep this over here. I kind of want to show both. Just kind of can't do that. Well, that's what it will have to be. I don't think I'm going to edit this video. I think we're going to have these delays, and anytime I sneeze or cough or pick my nose, but I'll keep the picking of the nose out of the video. My vape, which you can probably see some of it now, will not be kept out of the video. Probably hear it as well. You know what I should do? I have a couple of M.2 devices. One of them, I only have one in the computer. So what I think I want to do is make a backup of my image, because I'm not going to put the spare I have. So I'm going to back up my current one, and this is the one we're going to put Windows 11 on. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to do a little edit there. Do not want my license key for Macrium Reflect, which I absolutely love, to be put there. I have to ponder this for a second. I do not want to put this on F. I'll make a new folder. Call this live. So on done doing this video, I'm going to go back to this. The question I have for myself is, this is going to take much. So here's my 3 main partitions. This is really all I need. This is the area of the hard drive I'm going to put the files or Windows 11 on. But if I back up, including this, it's going to take quite a long time. Well, let's just do it. I'm going to do this right. Not to say the other way is wrong, but as far as me showing how the video, in the video, how to take a single drive, you know, I just need to do it this way. I actually do have a backup of that drive elsewhere. I probably don't need to back it up right now. But I don't know how. That backup's a couple days old, and I don't know if I moved anything off that drive. You know what? I'm just going to do it like this. Never unsafe to have more than one backup. But this is going to take much longer than I anticipated. So probably what's going to happen while this is working, I am going to probably just fast forward through some of it. Because I know I'm entertaining. There's no question I'm entertaining, especially when I'm fully dressed. In fact, a lot of people would say the more fully dressed, the more entertaining it is with me. It's not so much that's entertaining, it's just the other way. It's unthinkable for many people. But this is going to be 30-something minutes of watching this or listen to me babble and vape. So I think this is just going to be fast-forwarded through in the video. And it looks like we're still waiting on this, but this is going to be done much before creating this backup. It does look like our boot drive is fixed. Fixed is not the right term. It is completed. You know, I should look for that other file. And check the differences so I don't have to wait 30. Well, we're down to 28 minutes. I'm not going to put any more thought into it. We're just going to wait. It is almost done with the 3 main partitions that we need. I can go ahead and close this. I actually have another physical drive attached to this computer. I will, however, disconnect that drive when I'm creating. When we're doing the new Windows 11 build. So we're only going to see one drive during the setup. Hopefully I remember to verify these backups and make sure they're working. It's pretty easy to make sure they're working. But hopefully I remember to do that before I kill everything. I have a couple fans running. I had forgotten to turn those off. One's an exhaust fan for all my vape. It's usually hot in the Philippines, although it's not too bad right now, 76 degrees. But vape, ooh, it gums up the air conditioners. Yeah, this is a nice time of the year in the Philippines. I think in a month or two we're going to have rainy season. I used to live in Baguio. Oh boy, raining season seemed to be, I don't know, 11.75 months out of the year. But during a really bad raining season, it would rain for like 40, 50 days in a row is crazy. Rainy season now is not as bad. I'm much closer to Manila now. Still get plenty of rain. In fact, more rain than anywhere I've lived in America, and I've lived mostly in the Midwest. I did spend a couple years, though, in Utah and then also in Arizona. In Arizona, I didn't see much rain at all. I will tell you, though, I had this... While I was in Arizona, there was this massive, massive dust storm. Alright, we would be done if I was just doing the first partition here for the operating system, but now we're doing the extra partition. That extra partition has all virtual machines and all kinds of things like that I do not want to go away. I actually thought about making this video with a virtual machine. However, I have done that in a prior video, but I want this to be really more of what people are going to do at home. Watch this video. You might be able to fight your way through it if you're not knowledgeable with computers, and you certainly can do it by calling us at 5 Squared Support. You can also talk to us up from the webpage. I think I got a chat here somewhere. I do, trust me, it's there. And certainly call in or email and whatever. This step here, most people will not need to do, but you should do it. In fact, where I'm saving this right now is actually on one of the physical drives I'm going to unplug. I actually have a lot of physical drives. Let me grab this other camera. Maybe I could share what that looks like. I actually don't keep... They are internal drives, but I don't keep them internally. I keep them on my desk. Yeah, let me see. How do I get this other camera working? Alright, this other camera has some sort of weird filter on it. I'm not even sure how to use this camera. But there's got to be just a record button. So, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 drives. There's the drive up there. We're backing up. There's my boy. But you ought to be able to see that drive up top here. And as I already mentioned, these are other drives with backup and various things. Looks like this camera's battery's about to die. And here's the camera I'm using to record. That's green. And then there's my boy again and my beautiful wife. And kind of how I have my desk area set up. I better hurry up because this battery, it really is just about dead. So there's the actual computer. Here's all my cables going to those drives as I talked about. Alright, there's the tour you did not ask for. Now let's get back to the regularly scheduled programming. Now it's a matter if I'm going to remember to put that video. Oh, I should have did some syncing there with that green screen. Oh well. I'm not even sure I'm going to finish this whole video today. Of course I should though. Because I don't want to have to back this up again. But I can do incremental backups, which is what I should have done with this secondary D drive, one I'm backing up now, which means when I did a backup again, it's only gonna have to copy the files that have changed as opposed to doing everything. Which is actually what I do for most things. I am running Windows 11 on this computer right now. I actually just switched a couple days ago. I did do all I can to make it look more like Windows 10. It's not that that looks like so much care about, but really, Windows 11, the way they messed up the taskbar, I honestly just can't stand it. Because I like to create my own shortcuts here, and you can see some of the customization I have done, and of course that that bar, which I told you is short for toolbar earlier, you can't do that natively with Windows 11, which is ridiculous. There are other ways to do things in Windows 11, but I don't like it. And also, the whole right mouse button in Windows 11 is also insidiously insane. But I do use Explorer Patcher to make this Windows 11 act more like Windows 10. So it makes it tolerable to me. Probably the biggest thing I like most about Windows 11, though, is the File Explorer. I like that you can have tabbed explorers and all that, and I find it might not be that big of a deal for people that just don't dig deep into computers, I guess. But anyone that does any tech stuff, it's very, very useful and very helpful. But you don't have to be in a tech to appreciate it, I guess. Like if you're just navigating photos and family videos and all that, having those tabs and split screens and all that, it's very nice. Wonder if I want to make 2 viewers of this video. You know, that last video I had with one video, I think, I mean, it's really, the subject matter was great. It's how to use one monitor to split them into multiples. I love it. And I did it in time for, I think I did it in time for Thanksgiving football games, and to get no viewers on it. But what I think happened is, I mean, this isn't a big channel to begin with, but I did put up a video that YouTube got mad about. I put up a video about that, and I think YouTube has refused to show my videos to any search results within YouTube, which is why I think it only had 1 view, as opposed to my 10 to 20 views I've averaged. Anyway, that aggravated me. 4 months later, 3-4 months later, still only 1 view on that video. We'll see what this does, but this is going to be an awful long one. I don't know if I'm going to skip forward much of this anyway. Maybe if I shut up for the next 15, 16 minutes. I say so many brilliant things, I'm like, I can't skip through it. I can't have you miss these incredible insights. So the reason I'm started up with 2 cameras is because once I reboot and actually install in Windows, I won't be able to obviously screen record. So that's what this separate camera is for. Using Rufus, it bypasses all the checks and it will allow you to install Windows 11 much easier. You know, include the username. This is a time saver. One thing, hopefully I don't forget to do, as soon as you boot into Windows, or in this case, as soon as I boot into Windows for the first time, I want to set the password to not make it expire. Because once you reboot the first time, it will make you put a password in, and I dislike that. Hopefully they change that in a future version of Rufus if they can control that. But the times I do forget to change that password after a reboot, I just set the password to 1, then I go in there and set it to nothing, and don't require to change the password, which I will show that in the video once we get it going. I think the first thing we need to do, though, is set up OBS so I can record the screen and a few other things I will want to do and show you the best way to set up Windows 10 or Windows 11. or and Windows 10 and Windows 11. I'll even at that point go through why you'll want to do it this way. Here's a spoiler alert. One of the biggest reasons I'm going to show you the way it should be set up is because, in my opinion, you do not want any personal data on your boot drive. None. Nothing. You want it all on a separate drive. Or it could be on the same physical drive, but at least a partition. And the reason for that is simple. It makes backups easy. Not only does it make backups easy, I shouldn't even be talking about this now. I'm supposed to talk about this later in the video. But it also makes moving to a new computer much easier as well. So that's what's in store starting in roughly 10 to 11 minutes. Maybe a little bit more because I do need to verify, make sure these work. You know, once we're all done with this, I need to restore all this again. So I have to wait double the amount of time. Will I keep this part of this video? I have to ponder that one. That's going to make it for a really long video. Maybe it will, though. I could talk myself into that. I went from 12 minutes to 17. As you can tell, these bars are just estimations, and it's based on the current rate of transfer. So basically, the bigger the file that's transferred, the faster it will go. So that'll bring that time real low. If they're transferring a bunch of small, tiny files, those things take a long time, so it will make that time go up, take longer. So if you transferred 10,000 files that equal 1 terabyte, and you compare that transfer time from one file that equals 1 terabyte, the one file will take, I don't even know what the math is actually, but it will be significantly faster transferring that one file of 1 terabyte than it would take 1,000 files or 10,000 files of 1 terabyte. They won't even be in the same ballpark. Maybe I'll do some sort of test like that at some point. Because now I am curious. You know what I should do before I move on, after I test these, make sure this backup is correct. What I ought to do is test this video that is recording my screen to make sure everything is working. In fact, I think I will do that. If it's not working, I will have to redo this video. Except I won't redo this entire backup. This backup I'm doing right now wasn't intended to be in the original video. Maybe it won't be. But if you're watching it, and you're watching the original video, and you see it, then you know it was. I think it probably will be, though. People, this should help people. It won't help people to speak, but it should help people to organize correctly and standardize how to do a full install from start to finish, and also preserving your data and your operating system prior. I don't like upgrading within an OS. I like doing things from fresh, which is another reason why you don't want to keep any of your personal data, any of it, on your boot drive or boot partition. In this case, we're going to use one drive, so we will create a partition. Windows 12 I don't think is that far down the road. Maybe next year? Maybe? I've never been one that felt like, oh, got to get to the latest operating system. I've also never been one like, well, I'm not moving operating systems. Always happy to try it. And Windows 11, as I mentioned earlier, was so frustrating with the taskbar and the right mouse button. I haven't been using it until, as I mentioned earlier, not too long ago. So if Windows 12 fixed those things, then I will be more likely to try it sooner rather than later. But I certainly won't be one of the first adopters. I will have to wait and see how it is. Although maybe I will do it just to do a little review for this YouTube channel of 5 squared support. But if not for that reason, there's no reason I will jump on it quickly. This is the paid version of Macrium Reflect version 8.0.6979. However, this is also the version, I believe this is one of the very last versions that were available for free. You couldn't do incremental, but many of the features are great. If you want a copy of it, you can give me a call. I also strongly endorse just paying for it. I think it's about $200 for 4 license, perpetual. I do not do subscriptions. I don't think I'm unlike many people. I cannot stand paying for software. I won't do it in every situation possible if there's an alternative. I just cannot stand paying. I even read somewhere, I think they stopped it, but there's some cars charging to heat your seat on a subscription. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Never ever. I'll never do it. And I recommend nobody else do it. Adobe did that? Screw Adobe. I don't think I use very sophisticated software for making videos. Cyberlink, I like it. It's not super simple, but I don't think it's overly sophisticated. It has enough features. I'm using like Cyberlink Power Director 16. Bought and paid for, and they do offer a one-time purchase of their latest version, but they also went subscription model as well. And of course, Office has done that. Nope, no thank you. No thank you. I do have Office 2021 I bought a couple years ago. Before that, I had Office 2016. Why did I move to 21? I can't remember now. Excel, Office 16, 2016, is that what it is? There's a couple features in Excel I wanted. They didn't have in 16, but they had in 2021. It's the only reason I bought it. Otherwise, I would have just stayed on it. If they charge less money, I may have purchased it. But if they didn't have that feature that I can't remember right now, I would just stay with 16. And I will do everything I can not to, as I already mentioned, pay monthly or yearly for software. I won't even do that with Netflix or Hula or whatever ones there are out there. Although I can make a case for paying for that much more than I can software. Maybe that's just because I've been conditioned growing up with cable TV and direct TV and all that sort of stuff. But you know, anyone maybe 30 and younger, maybe a little bit older and younger, they are being conditioned now to pay for software, so I'm not their target anyway. I would say in 20, 30 years, you won't even be able to get anything unless you pay monthly for it. It might even be single use. You want to use word for today? $1.99. Oh boy. I shouldn't be giving them ideas, although I'm sure they already have the ideas. Kind of like I've heard some states, like California, talking about not taxing fuel, but tax each mile you drive. Now, what's probably going to happen is you're going to pay tax for each mile you drive, plus the fuel that you use, whether it's electricity for an EV or the gasoline you put in. I was going to say fossil fuel, but fossil fuel is wrong. The way I understand it is the Rockefeller family had a big push on what's called the oil and gasoline fossil fuels to give the illusion that oil is scarce. It's not scarce, but when you say fossil fuel, you think scarce and think old. So that makes people worry about running out and can more easily accept higher prices of gas and oil and all that sort of stuff. And the Rockefellers have done a lot of bad things, actually. That, they also, do you know a lot of your medications, or a lot of medications are petroleum based? It's also because of the Rockefellers. And it'd be interesting to know how wonderful everything on Earth would be I don't want to say greed, but if people had less of a desire to control everybody. And if those powerful people, the Rockefellers, the Gates, the Soroses, were actually for the purpose of good of mankind. It still blows my mind. This is way off the subject of tech, but it blows my mind that there's, in this day and age, there's people starving to death. There's, are struggling to eat, and it's just unbelievable to me that's happening. Pretty good chance I'm going to be skipping over these last couple of minutes. Probably not. So what do they say we need to do? We need to verify this image. And I want to test this video. I usually write notes so I don't forget these things. I almost forgot. And I did not write a note. But I haven't done it yet, so we gotta wait and see. How long is this video so far? Like 40 minutes? And we really haven't done anything yet. Okay, 25 extra minutes. Hey, 5 squared. 25 extra minutes just because I want to do that extra partition. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to go to our File Explorer. We want to go to F. This one, here's the image we just made. So to test it, I'm just going to double click it. And as long as I get this to come up, the backup should be fine. Now the other thing we want to do is go to Videos, OBS. Oh, we didn't stop the video yet. And let's play it. Oh, please have audio and good visual. Normally I do this on another monitor. We do. Oh, there's my beautiful boy and my beautiful wife. Other ways to do things. We get the same all my babbling. Some states like. All right. So normally I would just restart now and boot up on the drive, but I'm not going to do that this time because I need to disconnect a physical drive from the computer. So I'm going to shut down. Eventually shut down. Alright, that drive has been disconnected. Time to physically turn the computer on. Now my computer, I want to press F12 so I can get to the boot screen, and I want to select the USB drive. And it's going to be the USB partition 1. I think it's 1. Should be 1. I hope this camera is working. I did just bump it a little bit right when I turned on the computer. So most of these to start are going to be defaults. Install now. I don't have a product key. This will be activated when it does an update or when it phones home, because this is a licensed computer. So we're going to do Windows 11 Pro. Of course we accept, but before we accept, although I didn't hit next. We got to read it. You reading all that? Reading all? All right, you guys are speed readers just like I. We're not doing an upgrade. We are doing custom. So here's all the partitions on my drive. Here's the one took forever to back up. I always have some free space on an SSD drive, or in this case an M.2 drive. But we are going to delete every single partition. If this is a brand new drive, only one's going to show up here. But I'm going to delete every one of these, which actually makes me a little bit sad. Makes me a little bit sad. And we're going to create new. Now, I do not want this entire drive. It's going to create a total of 2 extra partitions. But I want some free space. I only want this drive to be about 200. Maybe 200 gigabyte. Let's do, we'll do 2, oops, my numlocks aren't working. 2, I think that should be good. Because this is going to be our data drive. This is going to be our OS drive. Remember I spoke earlier about always have your own data on a separate drive? That's the point of this. Well, we're going to install Windows on this drive. The only thing we're going to be on this drive is Windows and any applications. So let's go through this process. What does that mean? That means it's time to vape. And also, this is not going to take as long as that backup. Remember, the first thing we want to do when we log in is something. We want to set the password. At least not require a password change. Also, the question is, do I want to set up OBS? Probably not. I think I'm going to finish out this video, at least the installation part, with this camera. I will record the restoration with OBS. Oh, we can't even really do that either, can I? Yeah, let me turn off this exhaust fan. Did not mean to have that exhaust fan on the whole time. Oh, let's save a few seconds. I actually think the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the scaling as well as the mouse size and speed. I have to just adjust scaling because at no time in my life has my eyes been great. Have my eyes been great. But so I need to adjust the scaling so I can see better. Fortunately, I see well enough to at least be able to get to that point. Should be booting in pretty soon, I would imagine. Let's see, what should the title be? Vape, come vape, banter, and set up Windows 10 or 11 the best way possible. I don't think that's less than 100 characters, though. Maybe the title will be something like that. In the subject, put something in there about backing up and restoring, because that's what we're going to do as well. Checking for updates is a bit annoying because we just downloaded the latest iOS. That should have all the latest updates, but I don't think that's the way they do it. Look at that mouse. It's so slow. You barely see it. See, look at that. It said 5 squared. Hi. I am not. I haven't been for decades, actually. Heck, I haven't even drank and haven't even had a beer or any alcohol in. I don't even know. 5 years, maybe? No particular reason. I didn't hit bottom. Never been a big drinker, but whatever reason, 5 years ago, last time I had a beer. Or anything. I like to drink beer, Blue Moon, which you cannot get Blue Moon here, at least not that I found. And I like Captain and Coke. Yum. Maybe I should drink some of that for my next video. Which I only get 1 view here. It might be a while. I'm not one that needs a stroked ego, but 1 video view is very frustrating. Almost there. Well, wasn't lying. Okay, first thing I said, I want to do the scaling. So we're going to go to display settings, scaling, let's go 200%. That's better. Now let's go mouse. With one hand reaching over my stand here. Pointer size, that's what we want. Let's change it to, hey, where'd the size go? There. Let's make it a little bigger. Let's make it green. There we go. How about speed? Oops. Oh, that's probably pretty good there. But now we want computer management. You know, I didn't have to type that out. There's another way I could have done that. But anyway, we want to go to users. And we want to we want to double click that. This is what we need to uncheck. Now when we reboot, we won't have to put a password in. Okay, now it's time for the secret sauce. I can't stress how important this is. What you want to do is go to disk management. Okay, here's a little bit of a bonus. I really need to be a better way to type here. We're going to set up, we're going to get rid of this right here. I don't like this. This is not needed. Also, we can unplug this USB drive now. So before we do anything, I'm going to I misspoke. We're going to make this a new drive first. We're going to make a new simple volume. This is the secret sauce. And we're going to turn these into zeros. Oops. And we're not going to do anything with this part of the drive. We're going to keep that. You can do anything you want for here. I'm going to make it you, and you'll see why in a second. We're going to save this. I keep moving this camera. That's annoying. This is like the worst place it is. We're going to call this users. Users and data. We'll call it that. No, we're going to call... Yeah, that's right. Probably should have made this a little smaller, this a little bit bigger. Although, I imagine 1 terabyte, that's okay. Maybe that should be 100 though. But we want to get rid of this, and this is going to be a little surprise bonus. So we're going to go to CMD. We're going to run this as administrator. I'm going to type in disk part. List disk. I didn't need to list disk because there's only one in here. So we're going to select disk. Oh boy. 0. List partition. So one we want to get rid of is 4. Select partition 4. Delete partition. Override. If you don't do override, it's not going to delete it because it's used as protected for recovery. That is not needed. So that should be gone now. So this is unallocated because we got rid of it. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. To do that, we're going to right click it in disk management, extend partition, and we're just going to go next, 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 next. There we go. Now, here's the very important step. All you need to do is come over here, right-click each one of these, left-click Properties, go to Location, and change this from C to U, as long as you made your other drive U. Sure, we'll recreate it. And in this case, this is a brand new build. I'm just going to say yes. Typically, if I have a mature drive, I won't click yes. I will just, I won't copy anything over. And we're going to do this with each folder. Now, I don't go through each individual step when I rebuild a computer like this because I have a registry setting that will automatically set this up for me. And once you do it, although I don't think that actually works with a Windows 11, it works with Windows 10. I did not mean to hit D. I usually use D, that's why I wrote D, but in this example we're using U. That's why I got that error. I know, I guess I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. You know, I did notice there's properties there. Was that always the case on Windows 11? I felt like before I had to like show more options or something. All right, all these folders now are no longer on the C drive. The physical folders are, but the actual system itself only recognizes your library over here now. It automatically created these in U. So what this means is when you rebuild your computer or get a new computer, all you need to do is move this data from your old computer to your new computer, from your old build to your new build. That's it. Only thing should go on C from this point on. The only thing should be apps that you install. And then when you get a new computer, you reinstall the apps, you move your data back over, bam, it's all done. This is going to make backups, resetting to a new computer, buying a new computer, all that much quicker to get accomplished, to complete. This is really, really the secret sauce. You want to do this. Make no mistake, this is the best thing you can do. Doesn't matter if you have a laptop or a desktop. This is the path you should take. So that's really the best way to set up Windows 10 or Windows 11. I'm going to continue on this video though, because we are going to set up this hard drive back to where it was. Maybe I'll back this one up first. So again, I would normally just restart, but I'm actually going to shut this down. In fact, I'm going to put my a different USB drive in. Oh no, I hope I have one. Well, we'll just try. I got a couple different USB drives. Hopefully this one has Macrium on it. If not, I have another one that's Ventoy. I could use that if I need to. In fact, I'm just going to put the Ventoy in. I hope this is Ventoy. It says Ventoy. But normally I just reboot, but I do need to shut this. See, it says Ventoy, so we should be good there. There we go. And on Ventoy, I do have Macrium. I think I have to do one boot. I think so. We'll see. If you just have a Macrium drive, you don't have to go through WinBoot, but once it loads, it'll be exactly the same thing. Gonna have to do a little edit here. Don't want to be showing my license key, so it should be blurred out when you're watching this. Alright, now that you're in here, we're just going to browse for an image. We're going to look for the one I just created, which is, we know, is on this one. No, it's not. It's on this one. It's on Temp Live. We're going to restore it. We're going to restore it to this drive. So here's my question. I'm not going to do a backup of what we just did. If I do just this, I could boot into Windows. I could do this later. I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to take about 4 minutes to get back into Windows. It's going to ask me, do I want to overwrite these? My answer is yes, I do. And 3-4 minutes. We'll be back into Windows. This is I think this is a 16 gig hard drive. I have plenty of space. I have a 14 gig hard drive, got multiple. I think I have 3. Are they 6 gig or 8 gig hard drives? I got multiple 4 gig hard drives. Even got some 1 gig hard drives. I have plenty of space, but yet I want a couple 20 gig hard drives, and I would like to get some 4 gig M.2 drives and 4 gig standard SSD drives. But I have absolutely zero need for it, but I want it because they're so much faster. What should I vape now? I think I mentioned this in a prior video. I quit smoking and smoked a lot of cigarettes. By the time I quit smoking, which is almost 10 years ago now, or maybe more than 10 years ago now. In fact, it is more than 10 years ago now. I spent half my day coughing. I mean, literally, didn't stop. Now, some of you watching videos, well, you clear your throat a lot. Yep, I do. But I used to cough all the time. Switching to vape was lowered my blood pressure, stopped my coughing. I can actually go up a flight of stairs now and not be out of breath. The reason I smoked for so long is I like smoking. I like vaping too, but smoking was horrible. Everything smelled bad. So far, the only negative I could see with vaping, at least for me, is it gums up my air conditioner. Well, I hope it doesn't do something health-wise I'm not familiar with. That would suck. To someday say, oh, man, I wish I never did that. But I can just tell you that I'm so much more healthy not smoking. Smoking had a negative effect on everything. I don't feel that with vape. Feels not the right term. I don't experience that, is what I'm really trying to say. So this could be 4 minutes, 36 seconds. Let's see, I'm not timing it. Well, I am in my head, I guess, but nothing official. 4 minutes, 17 seconds to restore that. Will it just boot now? I don't know if I have to fix the boot sector or not. I suppose we'll find out. Let's reboot. I did unplug the Ventoy USB drive. But I'm not going to have my D drive. Not yet, anyhow. There we are. We're back to exactly where we were before we started this process, as far as the boot drive goes. Not my D drive with all my virtual machines. So how am I going to remedy that? I'm going to open up, now let me turn on my CCTV. The CCTV, I actually have an NVR that records and stores everything there, but I have select cameras recording on my desk. That's what this is, iSpy. I think there's another one called Blue Iris. I've never gotten a Blue Iris. I use iSpy. It's pretty awesome. And it's free. Anyhow, what we need to do, you're with me with the long haul now. Oh, what we need to do is go back to OBS. Let's start recording from here again. Alright, so we're going to restore. So we're going to browse for an image. We are going to go to the F, live. We're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to go to the F. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. Next. And then we're going to click restore. And this time we only want this. on asking me, do I want to right over that partition, because there actually isn't. It was unused, unallocated space, so it's going to allocate it all by itself. .37 a.m. This really messed up my time zone. I ought to be able to adjust this now, though. Alright, why am I getting confused here? Why did it change this on me? Oh, there it is. This is the right time zone. I need to update it now. There we go. Now she's the correct time. What's this going to be? 40... Close to a 2-hour video? An hour of it just with this update. Or backup and restoration. I'm still pondering if I'll include this part in the video or not. Maybe I'll have 2 videos. Just the Windows portion, and then another video that's everything. That's certainly a possibility. But if I do it that way, can I name the first video Vape, Banter, and the best way to install Windows 10 and Windows 11? Still sounds like that's more than 100 characters. Or maybe I just make the one video and do chapters. I really want to do most of this, though, unedited. Because like I said, I really want... I'm talking myself into doing it again, because I really want the user to experience real life in real time how long it will take. I don't know that many people are going to have a 350 gig separate drive, but still, people should need to know, many people need to know how to do backups like that. And this video does show that. The first imaging program I've ever used was Ghost. What was that, Symantec? Symantec Ghost? Oh boy, this is probably going back to like 1996, maybe? 97? I thought that was pretty cool. I'm kind of boring. I'm not really into gaming and all that sort of stuff. So there's many pieces of software I think is really cool. Symantec Ghost is one of them, or at least at the time. Now it's Macrium Reflect, and again, I highly recommend you just buying it. But you can get away with just using this version. You just can't do incrementals. But another piece of software I thought was fantastic. It was Plex, or is Plex. Though I don't use Plex anymore. I use MB. I actually have a lifetime, what do they call it? Lifetime membership for both. I use MB more. There's some things on Plex I like, but I don't like the direction they went. They don't care, from what I can tell, they don't really care much about the end user anymore. But Plex is one of them. Ghost is a program I used probably in the year 2000 called Beyond TV. They disbanded for customers. I'm not even sure the year, maybe 2004, 5, 6, I'm not sure. And and they are now basically, I think their product is basically used in newsrooms now or in hotels, things of that nature. Certainly not a consumer product any longer, but I used that for several years. I loved it. There was another piece of software that I just loved, and I would pay many times over than what I did pay for it. I'm sure there's something else. LD player or BlueStacks. I prefer LD player. It's a little bit later. So that's Android emulation on a computer. I use that. In fact, I depend on that. You don't even have to install it, actually. So here's my... Oh, I can't run it now because I don't... Oh, wait a second. Why can't I run that now? Oh, I can't run it now because my wallets, my LD player wallets is why I use crypto wallets on Android, and that's why I use LD player. Anyway, those wallets are on the drive I'm restoring right now. That's why it didn't work right now. And this won't work either because these are my virtual machines, and the virtual machines are also on the D drive, of which I'm restoring right now. Anyway, those are a couple pieces of cool software, the virtual machines. I use VM Player 17.02, I believe. It is free. I love it. Now, I know VMware has just been sold by, was it Broadcom? I'm not a big enterprise user of their services, so that's not going to affect me. But I'm probably not happy they sold out. I'm sure everything's going to be much more expensive, and I think I even read or heard that I can't remember. They're going to a bigger subscription model themselves, I think. Maybe they already have some, but it's going to be even more intense in subscriptions. And I've made it pretty clear how I feel about subscriptions. I'm sure there's some other software I like. Kazaa? Is that one of the point-to-point deals from 25 years ago or so? LimeWire? I remember I used to like Real Player for like a week. I used to, this is going back to slow DSL speeds or even copper ISP speeds, so you can do video through Real Player. They buffer a bunch of video before it plays. That was pretty cool. But then Real Player, which I think still exists somehow, turned into like the Microsoft Vista, well before Microsoft Vista for PCs, and it just bogged down your whole computer. They put so much garbage in there. So I stopped using that very early. I have no idea why people would use it now. Internet speeds are so fast now. I'm sure there must be some other software I've liked. That's not really about liked. I mean, I'm talking about software that was really useful, helpful, or entertaining. Oh, I know one piece of software I wish I never do. Party Poker. I had a few months of not fun on that a long, long time ago. Fortunately, I quit well before, what do they call it? Black Friday? Is that when they were shut down and all American, maybe it was more than Americans, their money was seized? I think I heard, though, most of them got it back as long as they were properly registered or verified. Even if I was an active user of Party Poker at that time, it wouldn't have really affected me because I never kept money in there. The river has never been my friend. How much money did I lose at Party Poker? Really not a lot. I never used it a lot. But I probably lost a couple $1,000s on it. Not that that's a little bit, but I know people that have lost tens of thousands and, oh, I don't know, maybe even six figures playing that. I was never, ever that deep into it. And I never played cash games. That's probably why. I just played tournaments. I still like the idea of tournaments, actually. $10, $50, $100. I'm not talking online. But pay a little bit and win a lot. I've actually playing poker live and not cash games, tournaments. I'm definitely up. I'm probably up several thousand playing tournament poker. But there's really, poker's quite frustrating to me. There's a lot of different ways to play, but to me, ultimately, it comes down to if you're going to win, you just have to be lucky. I mean, that's it. You just have to be lucky. You can play perfect poker, but if some clown decides to go all in on 7-2 and you got pocket aces and they flop a boat, there's nothing you're going to do. And you could say, well, people aren't going to go all in 7-2. And I'll say, yes, they do. It suited. I had to do it. It happens. Ask Phil Hellmuth. Yeah, so I honestly just can't take poker. Yet I do like to watch it on YouTube sometimes. I do that. I suppose I'm like many of that Poker After Dark. I loved that show. Loved it. I think it used to be on NBC. And one of the announcers died a couple years ago from, he did a lot of big poker tournaments, Mike Sexton. I loved listening to him. Who did he do that with? Vince McMahon? Is that his guy's name? Anyway, I love listening to those two do poker. Sad to hear that Mike died. I want to say a couple years ago, but it seems like every time I say, oh, that happened a couple years ago, then when I look later, it was like 8 years ago. I'm like, wow, where does time go? It goes by so fast. So fast. Much faster than this restoration. Nothing fast about this restoration. But this is a lot of data. What is this? 337.62 gigabytes. That's a lot of virtual machines. It's more than that. I think I have a couple of image files there as well. I probably could have deleted those, saved some time, but I like spending time here on this video with my hopefully 2+ viewers. I do want to reiterate, setting your computer up the way I had just showed will save you so much time in the future. And not even just that, it should also put you on a path of proper backups. And if things aren't backed up, there's no excuse for it because it's so easy today to do today. But if things are not backed up and you lose some precious family videos or media or whatever, work documents, letters, wills, whatever, you will be very upset that you did not call 5 Squared Support to help you out, or upset that you didn't figure it out. And by the way, we don't charge much to help you. $25 for a session. 5 Squared. So in the Philippines, I used to buy this root beer vape. However, I cannot find it anymore. It disappeared. I haven't had it in 6 months now. It makes me sad. There's other flavors I like, but nothing as much as that root beer. And things are not as easy to get in the Philippines as it is in America. Although this April 10th will be my 10-year anniversary since I've been in America. And that means 10 years since I've been here. And what I can buy in the Philippines today compared to when I got here is night and day. Not only that, there are many more things I can get shipped here with no extra cost from Amazon. Unfortunately, vape juice is not one of those. In fact, I don't even think Amazon sells vape juice. And one thing I did notice, though, when I can find vape juice here, it actually doubled in price recently. It was about $2 for 100 milliliters. Now it's about $4 for 100 milliliters of vape juice. In America, I think it's like 5 times that cost. I haven't smoked cigarettes in a long time, but I remember when I first moved here, the price of cigarettes here were about $2 for a pack. When I moved, I lived in Indiana when I moved, I believe they were about $7 a pack. And I guess right before I got here, cigarettes doubled in price. They were about $1 a pack, but they added $1 in taxes, 50 pesos roughly. So they actually were double the price when I first got here, and yet they were so much cheaper than America. I actually have no idea how much cigarettes are now. I'll have to look now just to find out, because I'm curious, and if I remember to look. And for my 2 viewers of this video, if I remember, you can look to the next video or one of the future videos where I will tell you how much cigarettes currently are. So I mentioned earlier I'd like to get some big SSD drives or M.2 drives. Well, this is part of the reason. Not that you want to use SSD or M.2 drives as storage devices, but I would. It wouldn't be my primary backup by any means, but for things like this, I could restore this drive so much faster. Though I miss being able to get things and have more options in America, I also miss getting euros. Some people call them gyros. Haven't seen anything like that in the Philippines. Makes me sad because I love those. And also really good pizza. Oh, I miss pizza. Ooh, and Italian beef sandwiches. Oh, I miss those too. When this is done, I will open up my LD player and see if it still works. Should still work. I'm restoring it to what it was right before we did this best way. Is there a better way to say that? Optimal way to set up Windows 10 or 11. Smart way. Maybe smart. Maybe smart. That's what I'll put in the title. Smartest way. Vape, Banter, and the smartest way to set up Windows 10 and Windows 11. also make some of these videos so I could teach my son from the grave in the event I'm in the graves much sooner than I want to be. He's 6. I think I'm going to start. I've already shown him a lot of things, not so much about computers though. But I think I'm going to start showing him how to fix things and figure things out on the computer pretty soon. Maybe my grandkids will watch this in 50 years. And imagine hard drives and computer cases and all that will be much different then. Hard drives. Spinning discs. Will those still exist 50 years from now? I will go on a record and say yes, they will. I have a little spreadsheet with each drive and what's on it, and the last time it was powered on and off. Spinning discs hard drive probably will last 100, 200, 300 years, but they do need to be charged. And what by charged I mean they need to be powered on at least once every couple of years. And if not, you can start to lose data from them. I've already taught his mother that, and I will teach him that as well. All that CCTV I talked about, I record from my computer. All of this is saved on different discs. So he'll be able to go back, say when he's 40, if he doesn't lose these discs, he'll be able to go back and say, what was I doing with my old man and my mommy when I was 3? And he'll be able to watch videos of the living room or kitchen table or whatever. It'd be pretty cool if I could look back on my life like that. Technology just wasn't there. It is today, and I will take advantage of it. And that's why I have explained to his mother and will him make sure these are powered on at least every couple of years. And I have, so all CCTV we have prior to December 31st, 2023 and before, I have it backed up on a spinning disk hard drive, and I have an exact duplicate, so I have 2 copies of that. And I have another hard drive with all, photos and videos from cameras and phones and everything else. It's backed up on 2 drives as well, and that's continuous, obviously. In fact, while we're still waiting for this, I'll show you how I do it, maybe give you some ideas. So I've got an A drive. So A, F, and M, this is actually this 16 gig hard drive I told you about. This one, it says archived through 2023, do not add files. So this is just so we can view this. We view these on newbie. But if we lost all this, it says do not add files because this is all saved on other drives elsewhere that not powered on. That does need to be powered on every couple of years. On this drive, again, these are all regularly. Well, this isn't backed up. I don't back this up anymore because it's already backed up on 2 drives, as I just mentioned. But here, family recent, current year. So this is all the stuff we have so far from January of this year. And this will go on. And eventually, when this year's done, I'll add it to this, and I'll add it to the other backup drives. That's how I'll do it. That's how I handle that. Or our family handles that. And I honestly, except for a couple friends that I've helped with this, there's nobody I know that handles their backups correctly. Nobody. They just think it's too hard. It's dumb. They are risking losing, legacy, right? I can set you up the best efficient way to make sure you lose nothing. I can't make sure anything. You still have to follow certain steps like powering up the drives, make sure they're safe, things like that. But as far as setting up the process, it's really dumb not to do it. Really, really, really dumb. Like, I don't think I'm going to find this quickly. Maybe I put them here. Huh. Well, what I was looking for, I can't find. I have, but I can't find it right now. I have a folder called A Tough Kid, some of the falls the boy's gone through the years, that he just got up and continued moving on with life. It's awesome. But to lose files like that, which is ironic since I can't find them right now, but it's not. It's just because I don't know where they are. It's not because I don't. It's not because I lost them. I just don't know where they are. Is what I'm trying to say. But losing things like that, oh, it'd be devastating. So for people not to have backups to make sure they can't save stuff like that, it's crazy. So not only should you call me to help you out with that, you should tell everybody else to call me to help out with that as well. Trust me, you'll get more value than you'll spend. That's a fact. And I don't look to gouge. Now, I am almost 100% certain I will not need to reboot when this says complete. And this should work. It says 16 hours, 27 minutes. But it really wasn't that long. It only says that long because I fixed the time here. Alright, but now let's see if this will work now. And it does. Let's look at Benjamin's Flare wallet. He claims his Flare twice a week and once a month the big Flare drop. This isn't something I expect him to touch aside from claiming. He also does this on his phone and his tablet. In fact, he only does it on his phone and his tablet. I track it from here. And we do that with the Bifrost wallet. I really need to make this a little bit bigger though. And there's his Flare. And he does most of the claiming on it, so he's in tune to this at a very young age. He's probably been doing this. Well, in fact, I can go back and see when he started this. More than a year. I think he started doing this January 13th of 2023. $78, which is now $450. It's It's a pretty good return. So we'll see what this is like in 20 years. So to recap, we set up the smartest way to do Windows 10, Windows 11, showed you how to do Mac RAM backup, did some banter about vape and some other stuff. We restored using Mac RAM Reflect to get back to where we were before we started. That's the end of this video. Thank you, you two people, for watching. Goodbye. For now. Did not mean to do that.